Guys, you know how deep I run for Marvel.
Deep.
The MCU has earned itself as the title of the biggest franchise in cinema history. But it's been a rough few years. It looks like it might be fizzling out. Marvel's box office domination began back in 2008 when Robert Downey Jr. stepped into the iconic role of Iron Man.
Good luck keeping up.
From there, it was success after success. The franchise peaking and striking gold in 2019 with Avengers Endgame, raking in over $3 billion and cementing itself as the second highest grossing movie of all time. Avengers!
Assemble.
Look, the last couple of years have not been kind to Marvel. The studio has suffered a string of box office disappointments.
This year at the global box office, Barbie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Oppenheimer all outgrossed both Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
So, how did we get from heroes to zeros?
Well,
I still believe, guys. I'm still a true believer.
Still believing, but a new book has gone behind the scenes to answer some of those questions. And the author of MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, Joanna Robinson, joins us live from California. Hey, Joanna, how are you?
I'm great. I also am still a believer.
Oh, good, Joanna. That makes me feel better.
It out.
Well, I guess the thing with Marvel, though, right, is that they are notoriously secretive about their projects. So how did you gain so much access for this book?
Yeah, that's a great question. They actually told a lot of people not to talk to us. And I found out since the book came out, even more people were told not to talk to us. So, you know, just good old fashioned journalism, asking and asking again. And we did manage to speak to all the actors you want to hear from. We managed to speak to Kevin Feige himself, head of the studio. We have all the interviews you want, but it was a little bit of an uphill battle because, yeah, Disney, the owner of Marvel, just doesn't like the full story out there.
It's great. It's a great book too. I finished it yesterday, and it does. You don't shy away from anything in there. But for some of the fans out there that want to get the book, was there anything that surprised you while you were researching?
Yeah, I think what runs through the book that's so interesting, because we're hearing about a lot of the behind the scenes struggles now, but what is true from the beginning is there's this sort of civil war inside of Marvel between Marvel New York and Marvel California. And so there's just this real interesting behind the scenes battle for control that involves some shouting matches, some interesting opinions about what the movie should be that was sort of waging behind the scenes the whole time. And I think that was really fascinating to uncover.
So you say you spoke to Kevin Feige, the head of the studio. How did he navigate that internal conflict in order to make the franchise such a success at its peak?
He is, you know, one of the most incredible figures I think that has ever existed in Hollywood, because he is not only a creative genius, he is just the consummate diplomat. And so you will never, he has not burned a single bridge with anyone in Hollywood except maybe Edward Norton, who played his first Hulk. That might be the only case. But other than that, it is just goodwill all around, because he knows how to keep his relationships going while quietly pushing for the kinds of stories that he wanted.
Interesting.
He has a level of positivity which comes out of your book too, which I think is that he gives to his crew and his team around him. But there's been this article, and I think it's very timely that you're here, Joanna, this Variety article that's recently highlighted the significant problems that Marvel has been facing in this last phase. Brass tacks here, how much trouble are they in?
I think one of the biggest bits of trouble they're in is that, I mean, and I suppose you could count our book as part of it, that now all these stories are coming out. And I think it is giving the impression that the brand is much shakier than I think it actually is. That was a tremendous and accurate package that you put together before I came on. But what's also true is that Marvel is still making so much money. Their shows and their movies are still incredibly popular. They're just not as popular as they were in 2019 when Endgame just completely dominated everything. So there's, you know, I like to call this period of time the wobble, is the word that I like to use for it, where it's just, you know, things are shaky. People are unsure whether or not they want to go to a movie just because it says Marvel Studios in front of it. Whereas I think before, if it said Marvel, that felt like a guarantee of a certain level of quality. Now it's just a little bit more uncertain.
So can they get past the wobble? Is there a way forward beyond this unstable period?
I mean, as I said, I'm a true believer. I absolutely think so. They've got first of all, they've got a lot of goodwill built up with the audience, but they also have these massive properties like X-Men and Fantastic Four that they acquired with the Fox deal, sort of waiting in the wings. They haven't deployed them yet. They also haven't put out an Avengers movie since 2019. So let's wait and see what happens when they put out a movie that says Avengers : something and see how many people line up for that, because that was something we used to count on every couple of years, and it's been so long because of COVID and a number of other factors. And so there's a lot of things at play here, but I really think they can turn it around.
Avengers : something sounds like $1 billion property just for me alone. But
Excellent.
While you're here as well, we want to talk about the fact that the final trailer for The Marvels dropped this morning. Now, that film is out here tomorrow. I spoke to the director, Nia DaCosta. We're going to play that interview tomorrow as well. She's terrific. I've seen a little bit of this film. I think it's going to surprise people, but so far, the projections are low for a Marvel film on this. Can this turn things around?
I don't think... I am very optimistic about this project. I think it looks delightful. I'm going to go see it tonight. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very excited to see it. I do not think this is going to be the thing to turn it around. I think there's just too much uncertainty right now, but Marvel is really good at playing the long game. And so I think if they don't get overly spooked, they can in the future turn things around. But let's get the good word out. If this movie is good, if we enjoy it, let's all just tell everyone that we enjoy it, because Marvel movies are more fun if we're all watching them together.
Yeah, what I saw, I
that's
really
my
loved
hope.
of it. I saw 20 minutes and I really loved it. But just quickly before you go
great.
then, there was talk, and I think I heard you talk on one of the Ringiverse podcasts on this, which is a terrific podcast network. You were interviewed by some of the guys there, and you were saying there is in Kevin Feige's office a break glass if you need, get Robert Downey Jr. back into the franchise thing. Could that help turn things around? Is that a real possibility, bringing back the old Avengers?
I think it's something they have to be heavily considering. I think if they're not every day having discussions about how much money to back up to Robert Downey Jr.'s house, to Chris Evans' house, to Scarlett Johansson's house, they're kind of kidding themselves. They have a great opportunity for that storytelling-wise coming up with one of their projects that they've announced, Secret Wars. So I'm hoping that happens, but I'm not promising anything, certainly. But I think we can all hope together.
Nostalgia is the flavour of the month, isn't it? Everyone wants the OGs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Joanna, great to have you on. Really lovely to chat. Thanks for joining us
Thanks,
today,
Joanna.
and congrats on the
Thanks
book.
for having me. Thank you.
It's a great book. MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. It is out now. It's fascinating.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?